So, a little bit better news for you guys coming out of New York. I don't know why the hell you would live there and try to own guns anyway, but here we are. So, today the Supreme Court dropped the decision in a 6-3 ruling. It was the New York versus Bruin case. 6-3, we have 6 conservative judges and 3 liberal judges. You know, that's such a stupid term these days. They're all about the same. But at least the 6 did the right thing and said, hey, New York, you suck. You're stupid. That's not how gun laws are supposed to go. So let me read this for you. The Supreme Court on Thursday struck down a New York handgun licensing law that required New Yorkers who want to carry a handgun in public to show a special need to defend themselves. A special need. I think you read the Constitution. If you haven't, get off your ass and go read the Constitution. I've read it many times. The right to keep and bear arms if you have a special need shall not be... No, I don't think it says that. Don't think so. The 6-3 ruling, written by Justice Clarence Thomas, is the court's first significant decision on the gun rights in over a decade. And I think the previous one was DC versus Heller. This is good news because... unless they really stack the courts, they're not going to go back and say, oh, this previous SCOTUS was wrong. They don't do that. They don't do that. Continuing, and this is from the SCOTUSblog.com. I don't really use this website too much, but here we are. The state law at the heart of the New York State Rifle and Pistol Association versus Bruin required anyone who wants to carry a concealed handgun outside the home to show, quote, proper cause. Yeah, that's, you hold up a Constitution, there's your proper cause. So, for the license, New York courts interpreted that phrase to require applicants to show more than a general desire to protect themselves. All these words have meaning. All these words mean something. I really think they can go change words in this law and get away with it. A desire to protect themselves or their property. Instead, applicants must demonstrate a special need, again, for self-defense. A special need for self-defense. For example, a pattern of physical threats. So if you've already been threatened, if you've already been beat up, things like that. So you can see where how ludicrous that is and where that's going. Several other states, including California, Hawaii, Maryland, Massachusetts, and New Jersey, impose similar restrictions, as do many cities. I did not read the entire brief, but usually when it strikes down one law, the rest have to go too, because they're gonna fail in court. All right. The lower courts upheld the New York law against a challenge from 2 men whose applicants for concealed carry license were denied, but on Thursday, the Supreme Court tossed out the law in an ideological divided opinion. They're always ideologically divided. That's the problem. The court's 3 liberals dissented. Big shocker there, because they don't follow the law. They don't understand how to rule in conjunction with the Constitution in order to provide you protection for the rights that you're granted by our Creator, as it states in the Constitution. And so I just think that's really crazy that you would support, and I get it. Not everybody can move out of the state that they live in. I get it. Case in point, I moved from Colorado to Texas last year. My neighbor, as soon as I moved in, said, hey, do you feel more free now? No. This is a myth. All this free state, no, it's all a myth. You're not free. You're as free as they let you be. They had to pass a law so I can open carry or conceal carry a gun here that you could already do in most states. I could already do that in Colorado. So why do I need a law to protect something that I should be able to do here in Texas? And I know I kind of diverged off that a little bit, but that kind of goes to the point. Texas has long been a Democrat state. And go ahead and throw it in the comments if you disagree, but you better look at who's been governor for many, many years in the past. Now, they are not the crazy liberals that we have now. They are not the crazy liberals that run New York and Chicago and things like that. Ann Richards, for instance, was governor here when I was younger, and she was a Democrat. I'm not even going to say liberal, because I can't tell the difference between how she was and how a Republican is now. Because Republicans are not conservative. Republicans only conserve their position in power, in office. That's all they can serve. Back to this case, what did the NRA do for this? How did they help? About that much, like everything else. And in fact, these new red flag laws and things like that the Senate passed, I think 10 of the 14 the Republicans that passed it have been getting money from the NRA. So they funded it. And so right now, today is the time we got to stand up and say enough is enough. I get it. Like that school shooting in Uvalde, a couple years back, the school shooting in Santa Fe, Texas is right down the road from where I live. Like that high school is 5 minutes from my house. I didn't live here at the time. Tragic is not a word that even comes to describe this. But after that, after Uvalde, the failures of the police departments and all that, I've determined that the compromise has to be zero. Zero compromise. Fight everything. Fight people's opinions on guns, but do it in the best way possible so you can change their opinion, so you can mold people into who we need them to become to protect our rights. As many of you probably do, I value my Second Amendment as much as I do my First, my Second, my Third, my Fourth, my Fifth, and on and on and on and on. I value those so highly that I'm at the point, like, you want to take my guns? Okay, I'll give them to you. But I get to choose which right of yours gets taken away. And I'm going to take away your right to vote. Because, okay, take my guns away. I'll take away your right to vote. I know, pipe dream. And then one cycle later, we get all our stuff back. But zero compromise has got to be where we stand. You've got to do it right. I am not advocating the fight because honestly, most of you can't stomach it. I've been in combat and I don't like it. I don't want to do it here. That would be the most catastrophic thing that I can imagine. But zero compromise. That's it. The courts are not your friend. We got lucky. The courts are not your friends. The judges, the lawyers, the NRA is not your friends. Gun Owners of America, Firearms Policy Coalition. Heck, if we could stop gun grabbers by Twitter alone, Gun Policy Coalition would crush it. If you haven't been to their site, oh my gosh, they are on fire. They don't hold back. But here we are, talking about, yay, somebody found something that was unconstitutional. So I challenge you, as I close this up, look at your state laws on guns. What do you feel is unconstitutional, unreasonable, and just not cool? What right do you not have in your state that you want? Start contacting your reps, and when you get one of those canned email responses, send the same response again and again, and start getting your friends to do it, and send them, and send them, and send them, and make them respond. Put them on record. Make them write a response that isn't the preform letters, because that will help us avoid stuff like having to wait for the Supreme Court. So you have a proper cause to exercise your rights. Do you have a proper cause to open your mouth and start talking? I'm sure some police officers would love that because they love that control. I had a discussion with one yesterday and it he's a nice guy. Your job's to write me a ticket. No, I'm not going to cooperate. But, nobody takes away my First Amendment right. Nobody's going to take away my Second Amendment right. Nobody should be able to take away your right to not be illegally searched or seized, things like that. And so we've got to say zero compromise is the answer going forward. Zero. I care deeply about these kids that are killed in these schools. I can't do anything about it. I can educate people. I guess that's doing something about it. I can teach people. I can make sure my kids are well-adjusted youth growing into adults and make sure they understand how to use firearms properly and safely. But that's what we've got, and that's what we can do. And if that's all we can do, then we're doing far more than anybody else, to include your Republican, conservative congressmen and senators, because they are not. So with that, good job, SCOTUS. Big ol' FU to New York, because they deserve every bit of it, and I hope it's a giant one, and I hope it costs them money. And if you can afford to move out of New York, New Jersey, Massachusetts, and all those shithole states, please do it. I wish I could afford to help you, because I would. I guess a couple houses for sale right here. Come on. So with that, stay tactical. See you guys next time.